design. Don't play with my Kansas City Chiefs, folks. Don't play with them. It's been a hard-fought journey being a Chiefs fan, man. It's been hard. I'm just happy that we made it here. I really am. I mean, I'm at a loss for words. I'm at a loss for words. How many Mahomes jerseys do you have? 2. Now, here's the next question for you guys. Okay? Are you guys really going to root for the fucking Eagles? Seriously. Tell me that with a straight face. Tell me that with a straight face that you're going to root for the Philadelphia Eagles. Seriously. Hell no, man. You guys are out of your mind. You guys are out of your mind. Listen, I'm not a Chiefs fan. Patrick Mahomes is my guy. All right, we got a good amount of stuff to talk about today. So, right off rip, I'll be streaming my bare minimum every weekday between now and the trade deadline. So stamp that in. Every weekday between now and the trade deadline. We have a PowerPoint stream today. We have a bunch of other stuff to talk about. My trade deadline prediction video is dropping this week. Obviously, the trade deadline is next Thursday. We'll see how long that lasts. No, it's going to happen for sure. If I ever think it might not happen, I'll tell you, I'm not so sure. And I'm honestly thinking maybe even streaming on the weekend, but I'm not entirely sure yet. I'm not committing to that fully. Okay. Are you going to talk about Kelly Olynyk? Probably at some point, yeah. I'm working on this trade deadline prediction video. There's one trade that I hadn't thought about at all. Oh, wait, did I get I don't know. Why did it not pop up? Well. We'll have to do it ourselves. With the $2, when I saw that tweet about Wilt, I had to tag you. Let's see the tweet. Let's see the tweet. A trade that I hadn't thought about and I saw kind of theorized by some people, and then I thought about it more and I said, damn it, this kind of makes some sense. Walker Kessler to the Celtics. Now, I don't know if the Celtics are would even entertain that. Wait, what is this video of? The 1954 Cotton Bowl. How they have this footage and not Wilt's 100-point game makes me believe it never happened. I think it happened, but I think it was just so disgusting. So disgusting that it's kind of embarrassing. No, because they have Jaden Springer's contracts that they're trying to trade apparently, and it fits into Walker Kessler. And if they just use all of their picks left. But the more I think about it, the more I'm like, I don't really think the Celtics would do that necessarily. Who's calling me? Bad time. If you look up the Wilt game, they are intentionally fouling the other team to get more possessions. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think it's so disgusting that they don't talk about it. Okay, but we'll do Bleacher Report streaks. But here's the thing, and I'll remind you guys this. So, trade deadline stream start time. Look, I got to come out of here with something. We usually do this, and every time we try to set goals, you guys fucking far exceed it. I'm trying to think of What's the earliest I'm willing to start on trade deadline day? I don't want to do a 24-hour stream. I don't think that would be fair to you guys because by the time the trade deadline actually gets there, I'd be on what, like 20 hours straight? Like I would be losing steam tremendously to the point where it's like the most fun part of the day. I would be out of it. You know, that's not fun for anyone. London Hoops with the 199. Hey, big bro. What's up, bruv? So right now I'm scheduling the start time for 1 p.m. Central Standard Time on trade deadline day. That's 1 hour before the trade deadline starts. Now, of course, there's ways that we can cut into this start time. For every new member, our re-upping membership will take a minute off between now and the trade deadline. So over the next couple of weeks, over the next 10 days, every member, our re-upping membership takes a minute off. Every donation on YouTube/playback takes 3 minutes off. So we've already got a couple today. We just got Partha, 28 months. They said I'd never make it slightly early. They said that. They did. That takes a minute off. And for every shirt purchased, I think tomorrow I'm going to reopen the Slightly Biased store. I do have some unblocked Slightly shirts still left. I need to get rid of. They're just fucking sitting here. I put the box away and forgot about it. So I honestly thought as though I honestly, for some reason, felt as if I had already taken care of it. But there's still some shirts left. And I've had people ask me about them. K, 26 months, take another minute off, buddy. Hey, all right. So yes, I will be selling those. We'll knock the price down from what they originally were. You need new shirts designed? Yeah, no, we'll get some new ones. But I just have these old ones that are still here. I'll slash the price. You know what? We might slash the price in half. I think I was selling them for 30. We might slash them in half. So that'll take 10 minutes off. Melverick is gifted 5 subs. Look at that, guys. Sometimes you just gotta beg. I mean, really, sometimes you just gotta ask. Shout out to Melverick. We will track all of these. We will track all of these over the course. And what do you guys think the earliest start time should be? Like, realistically speaking. I'm kind of between 6 a.m. and 7 a.m. That's when we start to get like, this is so early. What are we going to be talking about? So 6 a.m. would be 8 hours before the trade deadline. That's kind of egregious. I think 9 a.m. Central's early enough. I feel like this used to be earlier. Oh, we pushed slightly early back an hour. 8:30. How about 8? It's fun. I know you guys are thinking, I think 8 is what we've done, honestly. I'm trying to think back. I think 8 is what we've done in the past. And that sounds really early. It's like, what could we possibly be talking about for that long? You'd be surprised. I'm going to go look at my last trade deadline stream. What a fucking fun stream that was, man. 6 hours and 30 minutes. When did we go live? We were live at 8 a.m. Yeah. Okay. You started Severance? Nice. 8 a.m. was our start time last year. So 8 a.m. goal. That's our goal. Can we get to 8 a.m.? We will track this and monitor it over the course of the next few weeks. Okay. Shout out to Melverick for the 5 gifted. And by the way, I know I've promised this, but we are actually working towards it now. The memberships are going to start. There's actually going to start to become some like real perks to being a member. I want to start doing like an interview series, which I won't paywall it entirely, but I'll consider it. The game's the game, guys. I don't know what else to tell you. If Locked On is Raccoon's Con, what are we slightly? The Slightly Delusional Club. Come on, baby. Come on, man. All right, let's do streaks. Watched the NFL games yesterday, so we're up to date on those. Which teams are in the Super Bowl? Eagles, Chiefs. Really kind of a lame Super Bowl. I mean, really it is. If the NFL had a third place game, it would be between Commanders and Bills. Should they think about doing that? What would be the point? Which of these MLB free agents is currently unsigned? Uh-oh. We know Juan Soto's on the Mets. Corbin Burns is on the Diamondbacks. It's between these two. I know for a fact Pete Alonso's not signed. Where did Max Fried go? Oh, he went to the Yankees, didn't he? The only power conference college basketball team in New York City. St. John's is... It's got to be St. John's. Okay, that one... that one was easy. When did Diamondbacks join the MLB? 90s, right? Yeah. Okay. Which of these MLB players won an MVP award? Well, Derek Jeter didn't. I know for a fact Dustin Pedroia did. All right, we're kind of cooking. Hold on a second. This NHL player has 28 goals from breaking the all-time record. That has to be Ovechkin. Wow. I honestly didn't even know he was still playing. Kudos to him. I feel like NHL players play for a long-ass time. When did the Mets join the MLB? So there was the Brooklyn Dodgers. That wasn't the Mets. It's either 50s or 60s. I'm going to say 50s, but I think that's wrong. Damn it. Fuck. Go with your heart, guys. Portugal has produced one NBA player. Guy Santos, Nene, Mesquita, Raul Neto. Neto's Brazilian. Is Nene Portuguese? Okay. I honestly didn't know that. Where did Don Staley play college basketball? I honestly don't know this either. I might just guess Virginia Tech. Okay. Do any of Bruce Brown, Davon Mitchell, Chris Boucher, Kelly O move you? Move me? No. For the Mavs? Not really, to be honest with you. Maybe Chris Boucher. Like, when you say move, what exactly are you implying? I feel like I should add on the screen the membership goal. How do I do that? Let's see. I always see it. Sources, widgets. Here we go. Widgets. Goal. I want a goal. It moves the needle in your opinion pretty much. No, I don't think any of those realistically move the needle for the Mavs, to be honest. So Maxi becomes, I was saying that you have to be careful trading Maxi because you have to upgrade him. Maxi becomes absolutely somebody you trade this year. Now at this point. Subscription goal? Bit goal? I mean, what are these things? A jar. The jar. Tip jar. What the fuck is this? They got so much shit on here. All right, whatever. We'll look at this later. Mavs are cooked either way this season. So is losing Lively, Maxi, and Dwight enough to cause the thirst after Boucher's a fan base? You have to also factor in we're getting so close to the trade deadline that people are literally fiending and thirsting for trades, right? For sure, the Mavs are like all these injuries has definitely changed the outlook for the Mavs and what they should probably do at the trade deadline, where now all of a sudden front court does become something you probably have to address. I mean, you just have to do something, right? And they did. They brought it. I don't even remember the fucking guy's name. let's start the recording. Yeah, Kelly. Hey, we brought in Kelly. Kelly Olynyk guy. We got a Kelly. We don't need Kelly Olynyk anymore. Kyler Kelly. Good morning, folks. It is Monday, January 27th, 10:52 a.m. We are officially 10 days out from NBA trade deadline. I mentioned this on the stream, but the idea is to go live, have an episode every weekday until then. And, of course, we have our big live trade deadline extravaganza stream on Thursday, a yearly tradition. It's always one of the best streams of the year, period. Not just slightly biased streams, one of the best streams, period. Thursday on the trade deadline. We have a goal currently. The scheduled start time for that is 1 hour before the trade deadline. We're trying to get it to 8 a.m., which would be, let's do some quick math here, 6 hours before the trade deadline starts. And, there's some ways that we can cut the time off. Memberships on YouTube, donations, shirts purchased. I will be reopening the Slightly Biased store to try and get that to 8 a.m. on trade deadline day. Going to be a lot of fun. I love that stream. It's genuinely my favorite stream of the year. I love it, love it, love it, love it. Have so much fun during it. I'm very much looking forward to it. So we are going to go live every day in between now and then, talk about some of the rumors going on across the league. I want to do some other fun content as well, like going back and looking at previous trade deadlines, which we are doing today. We have a PowerPoint prepared for you guys today. We'll be looking at the 2015 trade deadline, which was the craziest trade deadline of all time at the time, or at least one of. Probably the craziest trade deadline of all time at the time. Of course, things have changed since then. It was a sign of things to come. But yes, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about the Mavs, who are dealing with even more injuries now. I mean, what do you even fucking say at this point? And we'll talk about some of the other trade rumors that are going around. It's been kind of quiet. There haven't been a lot of trade rumors as of late, but we know these things are going to start heating up in a major, significant way. So we will talk about that as well. I guess let's just start here because this is what my chat's kind of talking about. God, man, I can't believe this shit. Just when you thought it couldn't get much lower for the Dallas Mavericks, like it was impossible for it to get much lower, the Mavs play the Boston Celtics on Saturday. They lose. I didn't think they played necessarily terrible. You know, they tried their best. They're very undermanned. The Celtics got hot from three. They were kind of due a game where they shot well from three. The Mavs couldn't buy a three. They lost a 3-point battle, but I think it was 36 points. The Celtics outscored the Mavs from the 3-point line by 36 points. You're not going to win a game like that, you know, in today's NBA. It's so difficult to overcome a 3-point discrepancy like that. But to make matters worse for the Mavs, Maxi Kleber, weird play where they said he hurt his ankle. Didn't really look like it was last year's trade deadline stream was over 6 hours. It didn't really look like it was a super major injury. All right, when they showed the replay, you didn't see him like twist his ankle or anything, so it looked strange, right? Well, it comes out after the game that he suffered a broken right foot and will be missing an extended period of time, and that's probably going to be, who knows? I mean, we don't really have a timeline for Maxi Kleber at this point. Have we seen any of the Twitter doctors? What have they said about this? I haven't seen a timeline for Maxi. I don't know if this is a season ender or what the case may be, but either way, not good at all for the Mavericks, who are already dealing with huge problems in their front court. I've seen a lot of people upset. The Mavs came out the day after this, and said that it was an ankle fracture. And then there was a bunch of conspiracy theories going on, like, oh, why are they saying they said it was a foot? It's like, dude, this always happens when guys suffer injuries. People are like, they ruled it an ankle sprain immediately. How did they fuck it up? They don't know right away. They'll always say that. That's why I say when guys go out with injuries and then they say, hey, he's out with an ankle sprain. He's out for the rest of the game with ankle sprain. And then people are like, oh, it's thank God it's only an ankle sprain. That's why you always have to err on the side of caution there, because it's like they're just saying that. They don't know what it is yet. They're ruling him out with something. So I don't know. People are just freaking out. All of these fucking conspiracy theories. It's just I don't know. Is the Mavs medical staff terrible? Maybe. I don't know. A lot of this shit's just freak unlucky injuries. Maxi Kleber is an injury-prone guy. He's been hurt for the vast majority of his career, it feels like. Right? Derek Lively, well, unfortunately, it turns out that he's an injury-prone guy. There's a lot of talk that this new Casey Smith leaving the Mavs, the Casey Smith leaves the Mavs. This is like a big deal. True. However, the Mavs, a lot of these guys that are injured are guys that have been hurt a lot throughout their careers, man. The Mavs dealt with tons of injuries when Casey Smith was here. Luka had dealt with calf injuries while Casey Smith was here. He strained his calf when Casey Smith was here. Remember, right before the playoffs in 2023. Tyler with the $10 this season needs to be studied, possibly with a tinfoil hat. Just a lot of weird shit. I agree. Put a tinfoil hat on and let's study this thing. It just feels like the season from hell. And sometimes this happens, and it's not anyone's fault. It's hard to accept that reality. Sometimes this stuff happens, and it's no one's fault. That's it. So now the Mavs have a serious problem because obviously Derek Lively's out for maybe the rest of the regular season from the initial reporting on his injury. So you had Gafford starting, and he's been great in his minutes since Lively went out. But he's getting 30-plus minutes a game. That's never really been him. So I'm worried about him. I really am. I'm worried about how his body's going to hold up to that. I'm worried about him just not an injury, but I'm worried about him burning out. And now your backup five, who you've been going to, out of pure necessity, Maxi Kleber might miss a significant period of time. And who knows, maybe the rest of the season. Dwight Powell, who, hey, we talked about this. Dwight Powell might be the best third-string center in the league at this point. He now gets thrusted into your backup center spot. But wait a second. He has a right hip injury, and he's missed, 4 games in a row? I think tonight would make it 5 games in a row that Dwight Powell's missed, and we don't really know the timetable for him. This shit's crazy. Powell's about to come back, though. Do we know that for certain? Do we know that? There's optimism Powell will be back during our road trip. Okay, well, that's actually pretty huge. That's actually pretty huge. So the Mavs, in their desperation, went out and signed Kylor Kelly to a 2-way deal. He's a center on the Lakers G League team. 7-footer. Iztok had a pretty interesting write-up about him earlier today. Guys, don't expect much out of these guys, please. I'm telling you. I don't even know what his minute situation is going to be. This could just be a break in case of emergency signing. He might not be a player who even really plays. I'm not entirely sure. But they went out and they got somebody, Kylor Kelly, scout from another team on 7-footer. Kylor Kelly, his skill set fits perfectly in Dallas. He's a lob guy and a shot blocker. This is what Tim McMahon says. And then Iztok had a pretty interesting write-up. After looking at some G League data and film, Kelly seems like a longer, way less athletic Gafford archetype. So I was kind of interested to see if they were to go out and get a guy off the street, like a 2-way guy, G League guy, how they would approach that. If they were going to go this route, where it's like, hey, let's get like someone similar to Gafford, and we can just have like 48, assuming he plays, we can just have like 48 minutes of that potentially on any given night. Or if they were going to go, let's find like I was going to say Derek Lively, but there's no Derek Lively archetypes. They'd be in the NBA. Let's go find like a Dwight Powell type player, kind of a higher energy big who can handle his own a little bit on the perimeter. Might be a little undersized and lacking in other areas, but can give us some energy off the bench. We can feel fine if teams are spacing the floor, whatever the case may be. But they go this route with Kelly. Very good paint rim protection data. Opponent field goal percentage with Kelly as closest defender. Shot blocker, good at vertical contest. At rim finisher only. Strictly a drop big and pick and roll. Tendency to sag off in the paint. That's interesting. Obviously, we know that's a big weakness for the Mavs is when they play teams that can space the floor. Gafford, that's not his strength. Obviously, this isn't Kelly's strength either. Rebounding data, not great. Lower end of G League bigs. High center of gravity, not strong. Not really what you want to hear necessarily. Second jump, especially a problem. Another Gafford similarity. Yes, that is true. Not high energy, multiple effort type. So if he gets a chance, they can try him in a simplified Gafford defensive role. Not sure if it's best fit for Mavs on-ball perimeter defense at the moment, but can't expect too much. Be too selective out of ad hoc G League signing. Hopefully Powell gets back soon and Kelly can fill a couple of games, short stints, as there is literally no other big left. Maybe we see more all-wing lineups with Omax, PJ Edwards when Gafford is on the bench. Getting Najee back soon will fill the wing rotation. Also crucial. Yeah, so that was from his talk, Franco. If you guys aren't following him, you're making a grave mistake. Basically, what I'm saying is don't expect much of anything out of this guy. If this is the Grizzlies, the Kelly guy would be an instant rotation player. Yes. He'd be getting 25 minutes and hitting 3 somehow. So, and then to make matters worse, Iztok made a good point here at the end. Can we see the Mavs go small? I've been saying that this could be an opportunity to see PJ small ball 5 minutes, which theoretically makes some sense and could be interesting moving forward. But then the problem with that is you're going to be playing PJ. Are you going to play PJ Washington 40 fucking minutes a game? I don't like move of cutting Gortman. Gortman is better than Brandon Williams. I mean, dude, who cares? Honest to God, who cares? I think the Pistons will do nothing, but what if the Pistons went after Cam Johnson? That would be interesting. Maybe that's a new wave that should be exploited with all wings lineup. No, I mean, all wing lineups can be cool. It's just in the Mavs' current form with all of their injuries, they can't really do it, right? They can't really do it, especially with Najee out. In theory, you could, when Luka's back, you could squint and see a lineup of Luka, maybe Kyrie's off the floor. If you're just trying to go like 6'5" and taller, Luka, Clay, Grimes, PJ, Omax or something like that. That's kind of interesting. But there's just so many injuries, and your depth has been cut into so severely here that like you can't even really realistically pull off small ball lineups without overextending PJ Washington, which is a dangerous game to play. So this is interesting. The Mavs have to. I was joking around about this on Locked On, but I'm being dead ass serious. The Mavs have to treat this next week every game as if it's a game 7 of the playoffs. They need to come out motivated. They need to come out guns a-blazing. They need to have a game plan. They need to be focused. I know it sounds stupid, but they got to do it. The Mavs play the Wizards tonight. They're big favorites, 12.5-point favorites. Please. Pelicans on Wednesday. They're playing much better basketball lately, the Pelicans are, but you got to win it. You have to. You got to win that game. And then on Friday night, the Mavs play the Pistons, who, again, are a good basketball team this year. Good basketball team. But you have to go 2-1 this week. Bare minimum. Ideally 3-0. Then the Mavs go to Cleveland to play the Cavs on Sunday afternoon, which is kind of interesting because the Cavs have been a little shaky as of late. Not terrible or anything like that, but they're not the dominant team. They're not as dominant. They've been dealing with injuries and stuff. 27-22 feels pretty good with Luka coming back a week after, probably. Yeah, I mean, 5 games over 500 with Luka coming back feels really solid. With the trade deadline coming up as well. So we shall see. The Maxi injury sucks. And this does kind of change things for you. Let's just assume that he's probably going to miss the rest of the season. He absolutely becomes a guy you look to trade. I wasn't saying the Mavs shouldn't trade Maxi. What I was saying is you have to upgrade from him, and it might be nice to have that $11 million expiring heading into the offseason that you could kind of work with in other trades. Now, all of a sudden, trade him. They need something. And the front court becomes a real area of need. Like, if the Mavs are going to make a trade now, I would say it was probably going to be a front court player. Or they could go another route and get another wing, and that could open up some more small ball lineups for them. But like a Kuzma, I think Kuzma's an option. With Maxi Kleber out now, it's really difficult, really difficult to make contracts work. But man, John Collins I do not want Patrick Williams whatsoever. I don't want him at all. $18 million for the next 5 years. No fucking thanks. No thank you. John Collins becomes a name that pops into my brain. But who wants to take on 18 months of dead Maxi money? If it's a contract that's longer than Maxi's and more expensive than Maxi's, teams would do it. Because John Collins then gives you somebody who could play alongside one of your bigs and also somebody who could play small ball five. Like, it just kind of fits, what you desperately are in need of now. What you're now missing without Maxi Kleber. But the problem is John Collins makes $28 million, $26 million this year with a $26 million player option next year. Difficult to make that happen. But then you could turn around and look at, all right, let's get John Collins for this little push here at the end of the season. And then in the offseason, if we want to make a big swing, we have a $26 million contract to move around. It's just really hard to get to $26 million, man. Really hard. Really, really hard. It's a lot of money for not a great dude, even in this whack NBA economy. Yeah, I agree. Just trying to think of names. I would monitor guys like Jalen Smith in Chicago as somebody who's been talked about and discussed. Really don't know how I feel about that, to be honest with you. That would just be kind of a whatever move to me. Daron Sharp is somebody I would keep an eye on. In Brooklyn, there were some reports earlier in the year that a couple second round picks would make that happen. $4 million, I think, is what he's making. I'm not sure. Do you tap back into the Clint Capella? Well, Larry Nance Jr., yeah, that's a name to monitor as well. I think he's making around Maxi money. That becomes interesting, though, because everything I could gather about the Hawks is they do not want to take on salary. That they're honestly even cool with letting Clint Capella expire. Like, they do not want to take on salary, so that becomes weird in a potential Larry Nance trade. You'd probably have to find a third team to take Maxi. Yabusele's interesting. I don't think the Sixers are going to just give up. Yabusele's been a lone bright spot for them. I mean, dude, the Sixers are only a game out of the play-in tournament. Maxi's been popping off lately. Like, I doubt they give up. So, yeah, I mean, this is the situation at hand with the Mavericks currently. Duop Reith, yeah, somebody to keep an eye on. Absolutely. I mean, Rob Will, someone to keep an eye on. I don't know. It would be really weird. It's a really weird situation. Because realistically, do you have to do that? Do you have to make a trade for a center? Because then D-Live comes back, and then what are you looking at? We have 3 centers now that are all playable. That's why I'm kind of leaning like a John Collins type, where it's like, this guy could also play next to our centers, but it's just, I mean, Jared Vanderbilt's a name to keep an eye on. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. This is just fucking, this sucks. Okay? This sucks. This absolutely sucks. The Weeknd's album comes out in 4 days. We're excited about that. The final act. I don't know how I feel about this. So what? Is he just not going to make music anymore? No, I'm still. I definitely think that. I definitely think that the Mavs are more likely to make a trade now than they were earlier, like a few weeks ago. But I would still, if I had to bet, and this segues me to something else I want to talk about, but if I had to bet, I would say they don't do anything. I just don't see it. I really don't. His last couple albums were so mid. Dude, hell no. Are you kidding me? Don FM, if you want to call Don FM mid, okay. Fine. I don't agree. I think it was a good album. Not great. I think it was a good album. After Hours is incredible. After Hours is an unbelievable album. Full stop. I would definitely say if you told me the Mavs were going to make a trade, I don't think it would be for immediate front court help unless that was just like a complete and total throwaway trade. We're getting a player for nothing basically in return, and we can just have a guy that can give us a few minutes. Right? If that trade's out there for like a Daniel Tice or some shit, okay. But if they were to make a sizable move, I think it would be more so for a wing. And I think that would open up the avenue for more small ball lineups. And that's what you would see in lieu of like Kyron Kelly, Kaysen Kelly, whatever his name is. Or even Dwight Powell when Dwight Powell's ready. Because I don't think that they want to do that. So talking about betting. I want to touch on this pretty briefly because my timeline this weekend was full of sad, pathetic gamblers. I can't emphasize this enough. There was an ongoing, is this really Onyeka Okongwu? Okay, it's a fan account. I always get confused when this shit pops up. I'm like, wait a second, Okongwu, you can't be betting on this. There was this controversy because DeMar DeRozan didn't get credited a rebound or something like that, and Prize Picks tweeted out that he cashed it, and then they changed it, and then everybody's up in arms crying and upset about this now. It was a tap-out rebound. So after the DeMar DeRozan situation, we can finally admit 100% the NBA is a rigged, fixed league. Along with the NFL, there's no more debate around it. It's been known for a while now. We can put that convo to rest after tonight. There was a huge crash out over this. I have to say this again and again and again and again. Sports gamblers, understand what you're doing. You guys are constantly on my fucking timeline crying about shit. Constantly crying and begging for your bets to be voided if a player gets hurt 5 minutes into the game, which should never be a thing. If I was a sportsbook, I'd tell you guys to fuck off. Are you joking? This shit is hilarious to me. You are gambling money away. I have no problem with sports gambling as a concept, right? Shams bomb. Mac McClung's in the dunk contest. So we've got Mac McClung, Stephon Castle, Matas Bazulis, and Andre Jackson Jr. That'll get people tuned in. That quartet right there will, dude, that's going to do insane ratings. But anyways, when you gamble money, you have to just accept whatever your unit size is, $20, $10, $100, $1,000 if you're rich, whatever the case may be. The moment you click place bet, you basically have to accept you're giving that money away. Whatever, if you get something in return, great. But you have to accept you're giving that money away. Stop fucking crying all the time. Okay? Stop it. It's embarrassing. You're being God. This is rigged against us. The sports books are rigging. Yeah, no shit, man. Yes, they are. They're running a business. Their business is to make money. Do the math in your fucking head. If you're gambling and trying to win money all the time, how are they making money? How? Let's do some quick math. It doesn't add up. Dude, the player I bet on got hurt 5 minutes into the game. Can you please void it? You gambled. It's called gambling for a reason. You're gambling money. You lost. You gambled that player wouldn't get hurt and score X amount of points. He got hurt. You fucking lost. I gambled on DeMar. I gambled that the sports books wouldn't fuck me and they would give me a rebound here. You gambled and you lost. Okay? Straight up. You lost. That's the thing. So stop crying and call hotline. Seriously. A lot of you need help. A lot of you. Nacho, welcome to the Slightly Delusional Club. It's not even a crash out. I don't mind sports gambling. I really don't. I sports gamble from time to time. It's fun. I place bets and I understand I'm going to lose. I'm a horrible ass gambler. I suck at it. I'm going to lose. So I don't do it often. But if I'm watching a game, if there's, it's fun to like with your friends, yeah, put $10 on a parlay with that. Let's go in on a parlay. This would be hilarious. And, it's fun to watch it crash and burn. But that's it. Yes, of course. Sports books are fucking yes, man. Do you not get it? Use your brain. How do you watch ads on TV and they're like, hey, place a $5 bet, get $500 free. And I think something's up there. Wait, what? $500 of free bets if I give $5. Wait, that doesn't, where's the math in that? Because you're going to lose. You're going to lose way more often than you win, and they're banking on that. Whenever you see Christian, welcome to the Slightly Delusional Club. Whenever you see sports books go out and sign these online Twitter personalities, what's that guy's name? Trace? The guy on Twitter that's constantly making bad bets? Trace something? Anyways, when you see, I think he has a deal with Prize Picks. When you see guys, online gambling personalities, Trent, signing deals with these books, and then you look more and you're like, wait, this guy's like whole personality online is that he loses and everyone makes fun of him for losing bets. Start to do some math, guys. Start to do some math. The system is rigged against you. It feels like it's rigged. It is. It is rigged against you. You're not supposed to win. Is it predatory? Yes, it's predatory when you go on Prize Picks. The Bill Simmons parlay. The Bill Simmons parlay. 30% profit boost. Congratulations. You just tailed one of the worst gamblers I've ever fucking heard talk about sports. And then I hate when I see people sometimes are like, no, gambling's like an investment. No, it isn't. You sound stupid. Please. And again, I have no problem with sports gambling. None at all. Do I have a problem with the way sports gambling is being, marketed? Of course. Do I think it's predatory? Yes. Do I think it's dangerous? Incredibly. The way that it's being marketed. Do I think there needs to be regulations? Abso-fucking-lutely. And do I think 10 years from now, will there be? Yes. Do I think we'll look back at this time period and say, man, that was dark? Absolutely. But for the time being, it isn't. I don't think it was, I don't wish it was illegal. I say this all the time. I wish it was like cigarettes. It's legal, but it's taboo. You can't really advertise it. Everybody kind of knows, it's dangerous for you. It's not good for you, but people do it, whatever. Sally, today you look extra happy. Thank you. I don't know what that means, but thank you. Is sports gambling advertisements the same as cigarette advertisements in the past? I mean, both very predatory, both very evil and dangerous, because cigarette companies absolutely knew, especially by the end, that the end of their advertising arc, that shit was dangerous for you. What's sad about the sports gambling thing is that it just takes one Google search and you see just how dangerous gambling is. How dangerous it is as an addiction. And it's like, dude, they're like rigging it against us. Yeah, man. There was just a gambling scandal in the NBA last year where a player, what the hell was his name? Porter. What was his first name? Not Kevin Porter. Gary Porter? No. What was Michael Porter? Jonte Porter. Yes. There was a sports gambling scandal literally just a year ago. And you think that's it? It's not it. When you're Gambling, you're doing exactly that. That's the definition of the word. Gambling. Gambling. No, never saw free packs of cigs guaranteed after you finish. Paul at the $5 is the reason why they have those giant disclaimers at the end of their ads. Yeah, I mean, that's... Look, I mean, you think about advertising, alcohol advertisements, obviously. Is that another thing that should be advertised? I really don't think so. But you notice something? You never, ever... And next time you're watching a sporting event and every other commercial is either gambling or alcohol related, watch the alcohol commercials. You never, ever see them drink. You never see them drink. Never. You never see them actually consume alcohol. Yeah, I'm trying to remember if that was something that was... Actors don't drink in alcohol in commercials because the beer industry and networks have decided to discourage public displays of drinking. This is to promote responsible drinking behavior. Obviously. I don't know if it was a law. I think it was more so just, it was kind of the precedent set. It's not a law. It's just more so networks and companies decided they didn't want to do it. And then on top of that, I think they protect themselves in litigation, maybe. Shane Gillis drinks on his Bud Light commercials. No, he doesn't. I don't think he does. I thought that too. I don't think you actually see them drink it. They might like start raising it, but you never see them actually consume it. Sports gambling is just like willy-nilly, Kevin Hart and Jamie Foxx. Yeah, I just bet on the Sixers under. I just won $500 and I got a $500 free play. Oh, I just win. Everyone wins. What fucking gambling company is it that says that? Everyone wins. Which gambling company is that? That is a literal advertisement. Which gambling commercial? Everyone wins. Which one is it? Celebrating wins? Is that maybe it instead? Not everyone wins? No one wins. It's crazy how consumers are just so stupid. They are. Consumers are so stupid. Like, remember all of those strange, that one 6-7 month stretch where there was all those crypto commercials and all those cryptocurrency stuff and all of the celebrities were like, hey, put your money in here. Remember that? And it's just, I mean, how does everyone's bullshit alarm not immediately ring off? Like, immediately. I don't understand it. Are people this susceptible? And look, there's definitely advertising that works on me. I'm susceptible to it as well. But it's just stuff like, if people are advertising ways to make money where everyone makes money, then how does anyone make money? Like, how? If it's crypto, if it's gambling, if it's whatever the case, everyone makes money. Then who's actually making money if everyone makes money? Because in order to make money, you have to take money from something. That's how it works. Hey, if I'm a business and I'm making a bunch of money, it's because I have a product and I'm taking money from people who are giving me their money. So if everyone's making money, where's that? Who's giving us the money? Dude, they could do the Nigerian prince thing, the emails from 20 years ago. They could run commercials for that now and people would do it. They could do it now. They could have a Nigerian prince go on and say, "Hey guys, I can't access what were those? I can't access my money right now. But if you send me $20,000, I promise you, I'll send you $2 million whenever I finally get access to my money back. I'm a Nigerian prince. Please, guys." And people would be like, dude, are you kidding? $20,000. All I have to do is send him $20,000 and I get $2 million back. What number do I need to call to do that? Like, it would work. So dumb. Anyways, back to the trade deadline. I just thought about that because of DeMar DeRozan stuff. It's like, dude, you guys are crying about gambling. Man, you're gambling your money away. Like, you're probably going to lose. It's rigged against you. If it feels like it's rigged against you, it literally is rigged against you. It is. It is rigged against you. Sadly, who will win MVP and who should win it? I'm happy you asked that, actually, because I actually wanted to look at that. The NBA award odds real quick. Let's do a little check-in here. So Shai's minus 350. That number got as high as minus 600, didn't it? I saw it on Twitter. I don't know if it was. It's funny that we're immediately going from the gambling tangent to looking at FanDuel Sportsbook's odds to win awards. I like doing this though because it does give us a nice little insight. I got a notification. Is that a Twitter notification? It is. What is it? Oh. Mac McClung vying to claim the first ever three-peat of the NBA dunk contest as four-man field is finalized. Stephon Castle is fun to be in there. Matas Buzulis, it's fun to have two rookies in there that are like decent, have pretty good upside. Shai's a pretty comfortable favorite right now, minus 350. Yeah, true. Mac McClung, former Red Raider. I'll be rooting for him. Jokic plus 230 is interesting. Is interesting. I definitely felt as though this race was kind of, I wouldn't say over, but it felt as though it was Shai's to lose. Like, it felt like it reached that point. Jokic is doing some crazy ass shit, man. He really is. And if they get top three, they're only 2.5 games out of the 3 seed. If they end up being a top 3 seed, it's going to be interesting. Everyone else, Giannis plus 12,000. I mean, there's no case for any of these guys, I don't think. Tatum, I mean, really? 20,000? You just be burning money. Who should win it according to you? Because last year all of us were obviously rooting for Luka, and Jokic is doing similar things. If I had a vote currently, I would give it to Shai. I mean, I'm never necessarily in the camp that the best team has to get it. But when you are on a team that's 37-8 and on pace for mid-6 wins, it could maybe even push 70, which would be kind of difficult at this point. They'd only be able to lose 4 games the rest of the way. But when that's the team that we're talking about, and on top of that, it's not as though your team is super healthy. I mean, you haven't had your two bigs play together in a game so far this season. Chet's missed pretty much the entire season, and he's your second best player. Hartenstein has missed good chunks of time throughout the season. He's scoring at an efficiency that we really haven't seen from a guard. He's having an incredible season. So he would be my vote, with Jokic obviously second. But Jokic definitely has a case. Give it to Luka. I mean, look at the team without him. Yeah. Oh. The best case. So here's the thing. When Luka comes back, obviously he can't win the MVP this year. But when Luka comes back, he could make a strong case for himself next year. We've seen how much the Mavs have struggled during this recent stretch. If he comes back, pops off, looks like the Luka, MVP Luka we saw last year, is firing on all cylinders, and the Mavs turn the ship around and just start rattling off wins and play at a 50-60 win pace in the second half of the season like they usually do, then next year we'll go into the season and be like, man, remember how they looked without him and remember what he did when he came back? That'll help him out. Shai, the most boring MVP? No, I wouldn't say that. I don't know. I enjoy watching Shai. I don't really know the hate. picking Luka to win MVP is almost as probable as the Bills beating KC in the playoffs. It's like this is the year, but it never happens. Yeah. Rookie of the year is a hilarious race currently. Khalil Ware is currently the favorite. His recent stretch of play is the best we've seen a rookie look so far this season. But it is probably just, it kind of feels like whatever rookie has the best like final 2 weeks of the season is going to end up winning this award. Doesn't it kind of feel like that? Like whatever rookie has the best final month will end up winning. 3-game stretch for Khalil Ware recently. 25 points, 20 points, 22 points. 2 blocks in each game. Yeah, McCain was going to run away with it, for sure. Fun Castle definitely has a chance. Sarr's been playing better. Sarr also has the second overall pick thing going for him. Jalen Wells, Edey, both on really good teams. Rotational players on those teams. Time will tell. Who is the worst rookie of the year, Brogdon or whoever gets it this year? The Brogdon one was weird. Remember, Embiid damn near won that award. And he played how many games that year? Like 15? Oh, 31. 31. He played 31 games and damn near won it. Finished third in rookie of the year voting in 30 games. Who was second that year? Dario Saric. So Dario Saric finished second that year in rookie of the year voting, but Embiid got the second most first place votes. Brogdon had 10 points, 4 rebounds that year. 24 years old. I mean, he had a solid rookie season. The thing Brogdon had going for him, he had a solid rookie season on a team that was good, and he played a ton of minutes. So think about your Jalen Wells or your Zach Edey's. Yes, Saric. You heard me correctly. Defensive player of the year, I mean, holy shit, this is a runaway. Wemby's minus 850. What is Shea doing here in the top 5? Lou Dort and Shea in the top 5. I don't even think that's been their best defender this year. I was about to say J-Dub. Which rookie of the year would win all time based on their rookie stats? Like the best rookie ever? No, probably like Kareem, right? Kareem finished third in MVP voting as a rookie. Most improved player. Cade Cunningham right now is a favorite. Minus 160. Norm Powell at plus 220. And then there's a big gap. Tyler Hero, I think, has been awesome. But Cade is, I think, what this award is and what it's kind of become. Do I think a first overall pick who's been good in his career, just injured, trying to figure some stuff out, should be in the running for most improved? I don't know. It depends on your interpretation of this award. But he has taken that jump. He has taken that jump from good player, a lot of flaws, needs to fix some stuff, to, oh shit, this guy's a star in the league immediately. He'll be in the All-Star game this year. He sort of encapsulates what this award could be. And I've constantly shit, and I'm not just saying this because Cade's my guy. I've constantly shit on the idea, like Ja Morant winning it, I thought was a shame, right? It didn't make any sense. I constantly shit on that, but I think for Cade, it actually makes sense. It's a really big leap. Six man's Peyton Pritchard. I'm gonna come out right now and say I do not think Peyton Pritchard's winning this award. I don't. I don't think he's gonna end up winning it. Amen Thompson's been better than him, straight up. He's just been better. I think this is just an award right now that we're not really paying much attention to. Amen starts too much. He's at 14 starts right now, and he's been starting recently. So it's very possible that Amen Thompson ends up not becoming eligible for this award because he has been in their starting lineup for the last 9 games. But if he goes back to a bench role, Coach of the Year, Kenny Atkinson, very comfortable favorite. I think that's fair. Barring a collapse, I think that's fair. Interesting to see Taylor Jenkins so low, but I guess you look at it like Jamal Mosley. What's really the case at this point for Jamal Mosley being top 3? Great coach for sure, but the Magic are 24 and 23 now. I guess there's like being around 500 with your 2 best players missing so much time is commendable for sure. Clutch player is Jokic. Yeah, this award will be decided by, someone said in the chat, this award will be decided by some media member in the last few weeks. Ime second on the Coach of the Year, to be fair. Do you think most of the injuries are piled up from the high usage and deep run last year? I mean, a lot of these injuries are just weird, fluky-ass, strange injuries. Trae Young for clutch player. He's second. Yeah, someone will decide this award in the media in the last couple of weeks and just be like, hey, have you guys seen how crazy blah, blah, blah is in the clutch? And that'll be that. So there's your little check-in. We went a full weekend without too many big trade rumors. We have a Kevin Pelton article from today on ESPN, best trade fits for NBA title contenders. We'll look at that. Sunday basketball with 1 game was so annoying. I hate that the NBA does that. I really do. The Christmas Day should have showed you. Hey, NFL, they got a Beyonce halftime show. They're on Netflix. Like, NFL's going for it on Christmas Day. NBA obviously is always going to have Christmas Day no matter what. And they did great. NBA saw a ratings increase. It was one of the most watched Christmas days of the last half decade. Wasn't it the most watched of the last half decade? Like, it just shows, obviously you're not going to compete with the NFL. You're not going to put up anywhere near the ratings they are, but you're not going to like lose, huge amounts of viewers. Stop being a pussy. Now we had 50 games on Saturday. We have 50 games tonight. Like people can't keep up with all these games now. Stop being so scared. Just do it. If you want to say, hey, we're not, look, is Bleacher Report, look, I'm on Bleacher Report every week Thursday. Bleacher Report stealing my thunder. 2 words to describe every NBA team. Quick 2-word reaction. What do short players who have around 6 feet have to do to be solid role players in the NBA? I mean, nowadays, a lot have to be either an elite scorer, like elite scorer. I mean, how many 6-foot guys are there in the league? Like actual 6 feet tall. Have to be an absolute knockdown shooter. Probably have to get like 2 steals a game. Fred VanVleet, yeah. Shortest NBA players. Speaking of short NBA players, Yuki Kawamura, 5'8". 9 players are tied for second at 6 feet tall. KJ Simpson, Davion Mitchell, Jose Alvarado, Kyle Lowry, Chris Paul, Mike Conley, Fred VanVleet, Aaron Holiday, Jordan McLaughlin. So a lot of those guys are grandfathered in. Like Kyle Lowry, Chris Paul, Mike Conley. But they're all like great point guards, floor generals. Stephen Jones just used quotation marks when talking about the drought that people say we're in, this franchise, man. Yeah, I mean, what do you guys expect? Rooting for that team. It couldn't be me. Couldn't be me. Let's go Chiefs, baby. Red Kingdom. Red Kingdom. Am I right, guys? Is it Red Kingdom or Chiefs Kingdom? Who's the guy who sings that? Kind of look like Zwayback HD. Zwayback HD. Internet's so funny. I have no idea who this person is. And they're like huge. I don't see it. It's just a white guy. Oh, Tech 9. Tech 9. Yeah. I had a friend who was just like obsessed with Tech 9. Freshman year of college. And we just listened to his songs and put me on a song. And I was just in the back of my mind. I was happy. I was happy to like go along with it. You know, anytime someone shows me music, I'm just like, oh yeah, that was cool. But in the back of my mind, I was like, dude, this shit sucks. No offense. This is brutally bad. All right, I'm looking at this Bleacher Report article. 2 words. This is a boring article. How tall are you slightly? 6'2", 6'3". I listen to Luca type music. You missing out. I listen to a lot of type. I really can't. I've never been able to get into like the fast rapping. You know, I like hip hop. I can't do the fast rapping. It's a big no for me. Kendrick or Drake? Drake, man. I like Drake's music better. I'm sorry. I just do. I like Kendrick, though. Don't get me wrong. Good Kid, Mad City is one of my favorite albums ever. Good Kid, Mad City is better than anything Drake's ever put out. Comfortably. But if I had to listen to one, I'd listen to Drake. It just makes me sad. It just, you know, it hits more. That's just it. That's just it. Is Kendrick better than Drake? Maybe, yeah. Quality wise, for sure. But if I had to pick one to listen to forever, I'd listen to Drake. It's easier to listen to. Easier on the ears. It fits every mood. You also hate that song? I do. I hate Not Like Us. I do. I dislike it strongly. I think it's annoying as fuck. I do. I think it's annoying. Eminem Too Fast for Slightly. I just don't like it. Some old Eminem stuff is cool. But I don't. I can't do it. I just think it sounds so goofy, man. I can't do it. Thoughts on SZA? It's funny you say that because I was just talking about this yesterday with someone. SZA's song came on and I don't, there's something about her voice is great. She has a phenomenal voice. Her songs are so smooth. I just can't. There's just something that's not clicking with me with her music. Maybe it's probably not for me, is really what we're talking about. Euphoria, Meet the Grahams is better. Euphoria by far is better than Not Like Us. By far. And that's I recognize SZA makes good music. It's one of those things, but it doesn't click for me. If that makes sense. Brent Faiyaz, it's kind of the same thing. I like some of his songs, but it just doesn't. FKA Twigs, I mean, yeah, I like FKA Twigs. Mobb Deep, I mean, of course, Mobb Deep. Haven't heard new FKA Twigs. Charlie XCX Merchant. FKA Twigs is a Charlie XCX Merchant? So you're a hip hop enjoyer. You're not a technical listener. I really don't listen to music like that, to be honest with you. So I'm not entirely sure. If you're more saying like the technical skills of rap, like being able to rap fast and flow certain things. I respect it. I do. It's not for me. That's how I preface every. That's how I try to preface all my music opinions. It's not for me. I get it. I understand it. I respect the craft. Stick with country slightly. I hate country music. Hate it. I hate country music. Can't stand it. I think it sucks. But to each their own. Alchemist type beat. Yeah, I used to fucking love The Alchemist. I used to listen to Alchemist, Action Bronson to like 2014 or so. All I would listen to. Honest to God. Rod Wave, no. Thoughts about Kelsey Plum getting traded to the Sparks? Could somebody hold my fucking hand and give me a binky and tell me Paige Beckers is going to be on Dallas? Can somebody please give me a binky and tell me that? Saw this is straight up NPC. You know, a while ago, like a few years ago, I had a much more esoteric music taste. As time has worn on, and I just don't have the time to dive into music, I fall back to what I find comfortable, and that's just the way that it is. I like metal. I do like some metal. Yeah, it depends on what it is. The black death metal, I can't really get into that much, to be honest with you. Again, I respect it. It's just so noisy and stuff. I can't really dive into it and appreciate it. I mean, Tool is one of my favorite bands of all time. You know, it's a very safe prog metal pick, which is what I would say I enjoy more than anything else. Obviously Deftones, you know, that type of metal. System of a Down, obviously, yes. Shinedown or Papa Roach stand? No, I can't say I am. There was a 2-year stretch where Death Grips was my most listened to artist on Spotify. So they should actually make a separate channel for WNBA content. I don't follow the WNBA. So I can't stop listening to Prison Song by System of a Down. It's a great song. Great song that's very God, that song's what, like 20 plus years old? That song's still pretty relevant today. Team Olivia Rodrigo or Team Sabrina Carpenter? Olivia Rodrigo, comfortably. And I like Sabrina Carpenter. You know, all that's cool. With that being said, though, I think Olivia Rodrigo makes better music. I do. Her music's better. Sabrina Carpenter, something's lacking in her songs. I can't describe it. I can't explain it. When I hear her songs, it sounds so... There's like a lifeless feeling to me personally. I can't explain it. Hollow sounds harsh, but I love some Tinashe, but all the people I know, I've been a nasty girl because of TikTok. That's pretty much all I know, to be honest with you. I've been a nasty girl. Thoughts on Dua Lipa? Thoughts on Gracie Abrams? She's okay. Tate McRae. That one Tate McRae song goes pretty hard. What is it? The new one that just came out? Ethel Cain. I love the ambiance of Ethel Cain's music. I do. I like where it kind of takes you atmosphere-wise. It's like almost weirdly too dark for me, which is kind of crazy to say because I did just say Death Grips was one of my favorite groups. It was my most listened to artist 2 years in a row on Spotify. But Ethel Cain kind of takes me to a weird space that sometimes I don't like being in, if that makes sense. Whenever back when Death Grips was my most listened to artist, 2018 or so, I was pissed off. I was just mad all the time. Like that was like perfect, right on where I wanted to be at. Seems like nobody sees my messages. I see your message. It's okay. I'm okay. Yeah, I like that. It's okay. I'm okay. I like that song. I can just tell Sally hates the 1975. They're not my favorite. In fact, I would say that I do actually. Yeah, I do hate them. That's Maddie Healy, right? Thoughts on traveling to Japan? Would love to. It's at the top of my... Actually, it's number 1 on my list. Next place I want to. What's the first concert you went to in person? NSYNC. I was like 4 or 5 years old. NSYNC at the old Cowboy Stadium in Irving. Loved it, man. I fucking love Justin Timberlake. And I still love Justin Timberlake. One of my favorite albums of all time is Future... Wait, what's the name of it? My favorite album of all time. It's a weird fucking name of an album. Future Sex Love Sounds. Was that what it was called? Some strange ass. Timberlake is hilarious. Justin Timberlake and Timbaland, when those two got together, unbelievable song incoming. Unbelievable song incoming. Yeah, I mean, I think I've said this before. You know, my parents got me a little boombox thing. Save your jokes. When I was like 4 or 5 years old. And it was like the first time they really like got me into music. And then the first CD was like, the NSYNC just came out with an album. So they just bought whatever album came out. And even when you're like 5 years old, the first thing you listen to, you're going to love. So I loved it. I loved Justin Timberlake. I loved NSYNC. You know, I think it's an important little anecdotal piece of evidence that, hey man, you're just kind of born gay. Because my parents tried. Not purposefully, but subconsciously. They tried with an NSYNC album when I was 4 years old and taking me to an NSYNC concert. And it didn't work. It didn't work. My iPod Shuffle, Maroon 5. What was the name of that Justin Timberlake album? We're going to get... I can't believe we got this derailed. During a busy time as well. Like, I get if this were a summer conversation and we have nothing to talk about. Yeah, Future Sex Love Sounds. God, what a fucking album this was. I mean, my God. Look at the track list on this thing. What an album, man. What was Timbaland on in this time, huh? Sexy Back. What goes around comes around is genuinely one of the greatest songs ever. I'd put it in my top 5. I would put What Goes Around Comes Around in my top 5 songs ever. Love it. All right, let's get back into trade stuff. What is this? This is from 15 minutes ago. The Los Angeles Lakers are not expected to show interest in centers such as Nikola Vucevic and Jakob Poeltl on the trade market per the Stein line. League sources stressed over the weekend that the Lakers are not expected to join the hunt for either Vucevic or Toronto's Jakob Poeltl, while off-suggested Lakers target Walker Kessler of the Utah Jazz is believed to as close to unavailable as it gets with less than 10 days to go. Can I read this? Am I still subscribed to Steinline? I'm going to be pretty disappointed in myself if I am, but I think I might be. I need one of those things. Rocket. Oh wait, no, I'm not. Okay, I canceled it. Rocket subscriptions or whatever. Rocket Money, yeah. I bet you like One Republic too. No, I didn't love One Republic, but anytime they collab with Timbaland, what was that one song? Apologize. Woo! What a song. I'm not buying that the Lakers aren't interested in Vucevic, by the way. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. The Bulls want a first-round pick for Nikola Vucevic, but the Warriors are only willing to surrender second-round picks. The Bulls continue to seek a first-round pick in exchange for former All-Star center Nikola Vucevic. League sources say the Warriors have been at the front of the line in terms of potential Vucevic suitors. Sorry, I just now got a core memory back of we're at the trade deadline. I see Mark Stein's at the Dwight Powell saga. You guys remember that? Who was on that? Who was here for that? Oh man. Whenever I tweeted out as a joke that I tweeted out as a joke that Mark Stein said that Dwight Powell was untouchable. I mean, to be fair, this is when I had like 400 or 500 Twitter followers, so I was really just trolling, and I had the excuse to troll. But one of the big, I forgot which one, but one of the big MFFL accounts tweeted it, and Mark Stein fucking went off on him. I miss the days whenever I could troll about the trade deadline and people not scream at me. The Warriors have been at the front of the line in terms of potential Vucevic suitors for weeks, but mired in a 10-20 funk that had them stuck at the lowly number 11 in the West. Dude, 10-20 in their last 30 games, man. Oh, God. AD crying about Defensive Player of the Year. Jordan Poole believes he should make the All-Star game this season after having a breakout year. He is having a great year. He's not an All-Star, though. But he's having a really good year. Shout out to him. Not an All-Star, though. A lot of it can be political and situational, but performance-wise, I think I'm an All-Star. 21 points per game. He's 40% from 3 on 9 attempts. 58% true shooting. He is playing well. The problem is you're on a terrible team, and there's just too many guys. Philadelphia Eagles owner Jeffrey Lurie is reportedly interested in purchasing the Boston Celtics per Bill Simmons. Okay, Billy boy. Chicago Bulls are open for business. Everyone's on the table. The Bulls and Suns have talked, and the concept of Bradley Beal ending up in Chicago has been discussed. So I have that was from Windhorse, by the way. So that's a pretty big source. I'm working on my trade deadline predictions. I would love for that to come out tomorrow, but there's simply no fucking way. Probably Thursday. And looking up, just searched up Stein in your Twitter feed. Saddest shit I've ever seen. I think I deleted the tweet. I think I deleted it. There's a lot of Willie Cauley Stein. Oh, Jesus Christ. Wow. Wow. But anyways, trying to figure out the Jimmy Butler trade. And Bulls fans hate the idea of getting Bradley Beal in a hypothetical 4 or 5 team trade where Zach LaVine lands on the Bucks. But I think it could make some sense. Let's just say you get 2 picks from the Suns, with probably one of those being the 2031 pick, or not the 2031 pick, like the 2 best ones that you could do, the 2 most far out ones. While getting the Bucks pick as well. You get 3 first rounders, one of them being pretty solid, the Bucks first rounder. I think that's interesting. I really do. You'd be getting 3 firsts for Zach LaVine. I mean, like, imagine telling someone that going into the season. I don't think it would work. What I'm saying is I feel like the Bulls front office would be much more receptive to that than their fan base, if that makes sense. No, it wouldn't be Zach LaVine on the Suns. Did I say that? It would be Zach LaVine on the Bucks. That's sort of been what's been tossed around. Is the Suns get Jimmy, Beal gets rerouted to the Bulls. The Bucks end up with Zach LaVine, and then the Heat get like Chris Middleton, like whatever other shit. Oh, God. I hate when my old tweets get sent in here. If you know, you know. I deleted that tweet. I respect Stein and don't want his good name slated. Someone be sure to ask Stein about Dwight Powell's availability. Oh my God. Dude, 2 likes. I mean, I was doing it for the love of the game, bro. I was doing it for the love of the game. I think that's why, I think that's why we popped off a little bit and we grew the way that we did. It was always authentic. It was always authentic. It was always for the love of the game. Oh my God. Always for the love of the game. Damon Zach backcourt will be horrible. It's better. It's a better option for them. Chris Middleton's a nothing for them at this point. Now, Chris Middleton's been playing so poorly and looks so old and washed that I've now circled back to, in that hypothetical trade, I've circled back to now being like, well, why the fuck would the Heat do this? Like, they're getting an old, washed-ass Chris Middleton, and then what else in return? Like, Bobby Portis? Like, that doesn't move me at all. So I'm giving up the best player in this trade, even though I'd probably argue Zach LaVine's been better this year. But I'm giving up the best player in this trade, and all I'm getting in return is, like, an old-ass Chris Middleton whose contract sucks? I don't know. That's what makes this shit so fun and so fun to talk about. We are rooting for the Chiefs, baby. Fight, Raiders, fight. Fight, Raiders, fight. Fight for the school we love so dearly. YouTube loves you. Fuck Twitter. I wish YouTube loved me more. I feel like the algorithm has just decided this channel's not getting pushed. We're doing good. I mean, these streams have been doing really well, viewership-wise. The best any, like, early non-game-related stream has ever done on this channel. What would you think about a Julius Randle for RJ Barrett trade? Would that be peak humor? Is that something that's been discussed? You quit on us? No, I didn't. I'm more active here than I've ever been. Believe it or not. It's been discussed by who? I'm not making YouTube shorts. That's one thing I'm happy I never did. I saw through that facade. I saw through that shit. Can you figure out OKC Thunder 3-team trade? Maybe. YouTube Shorts is the way. No, it is not. That is not the way to build the channel at all. Or talk OKC Thunder. I don't know what the Thunder do. And my predictions going into 2025, I said the Thunder would make a big trade at the deadline and would win the finals. I'm just not sure. It doesn't sound like they want to make a trade. That's never been their MO. And quite frankly, I think if Chet and Hardenstein had played together, I think they'd be much more willing to make a trade, regardless of how it looked. If it looked great, I think they would know what they had. They would know their weaknesses. They would know where they needed to improve, and they would do it. If it didn't look good, they would know that, hey, this doesn't look as good as we thought. We need to do X, Y, and Z to make it happen. But the fact that they haven't seen it at all makes it seem as though, let's just see what we got with this. We don't want to make trades. We don't even know what our two bigs look like together. Paul Pierce said Chet for KD. I saw that. What a horrible ass trade. But man, I fucking love the idea of Cam Johnson on the Thunder. I love it. I love it. I do. I just don't know. What about Caleb Martin on OKC? That was my big prediction in the summer. Maybe. I don't know what the Sixers do. Do the Sixers trade away pieces? I really don't think they'll end up doing that. Unironically, PJ would be perfect player for them. Yeah, PJ would be really nice for the Thunder, but he's not available. But I think you'll probably see the Thunder. The Thunder will do something. And we could see the Thunder might make a trade like the Jazz did, to be honest, where our team's looking for picks to move around in a trade, and the Thunder trade them, multiple picks for a more appealing pick down the line. Tyler with the $4.99. Hope all is well. Stay blessed and happy during the dark days of Mavs this season. We are always happy. We're never mad and upset, ever. Thank you, Tyler. There's a narration going on that SGA is getting iced out by coach to get J-Dub more run, and Shea shows his body language on the court. I wouldn't look into that whatsoever. So not a lot of like big trade rumors. Nothing new. I think we're all kind of waiting for some big dominoes to drop. Is this article worth our time? Kevin Pelton best fits on NBA contenders for 10 key players. Is Jordan Clarkson going to get traded? This would be really interesting. Brandon Ingram? Like, that's a name that, like, have we heard anything about Brandon Ingram over the past few weeks? Is Brandon Ingram's going to get traded and we're going to be like, oh my God, we forgot about Brandon Ingram. Quiet Dwarf with the 10. Over under 10 minutes for Kyler Kelly tonight. Way under. Way under. It'll be 0. Thank you, Dwarf. Is Brandon Ingram still in the NBA? He is. Wanted Clarkson on the Mavs so bad 3 years ago. I don't think Clarkson makes sense on the Mavs. You just like panic trading to go out and get like a guard or a center because this guy's been hurt or this guy's been hurt. I just don't think it's the move for the Mavs. I don't think it's the move. Clarkson come off the bench. Yeah, I mean, it would be nice, but then what? When Luka comes back, let's just say Exum comes back. Let's just pretend you get healthy. Then what? Now what do you do? Because it's not like Clarkson like really. I wouldn't want Clarkson on the court next to Luka and Kyrie at the same time ever. Have you factored in that I'm panicking? No, I have not factored that in. Your thoughts on Valanciunas for the Mavs or just in general? I mean, some team could use him, I guess. Could do some interesting stuff for you. For the Mavs, though, I don't know. Again, it comes back to $10 million for the next 3 years. Not bad. You have to trade picks to get them. Let's just theorize. All right, Derek Lively. Hey, Derek Lively's recovery has been great. He's coming back a couple weeks before the regular season ends. Best case scenario. Great. So now you have Gafford, Lively, and Valanciunas. Neither guy can play alongside the other. Now what? Yeah, you could. That would be like, hey, we just like next week. If it's like, hey, we just heard about Lively's doing X, Y, and Z in recovery, and he's not going to be back this year. Like it's a small possibility he comes back. Okay, we could trade for Valanciunas now, and then in the summer you have $12 million, I think, with Gafford that you could trade. Or is it more than that? How much is Gafford making? We could trade Gafford's money combined with somebody else to make a big upgrade on the wing. And then we have Valanciunas off the bench. Or we could trade Valanciunas, his $10 million. Gafford's at $13 million. Could trade Valanciunas, his contract, and we still have Gafford off the bench. So that could be your option, I guess. Would you consider Gafford, Maxi, Hardy picks for Collins and Walker Kessler? Gafford, Maxi, Hardy picks for Collins and Walker Kessler. Would I consider it? I would fucking do it. I don't think Walker Kessler is available, though. Let's look at this. This feels like it could be fun. Bold 2025 NBA trade deadline predictions. This was posted by our good friends at Bleacher Report every Thursday, 5 p.m. Central Standard Time on the Dallas Mavericks feed. I'm live on Bleacher Report. Bold 2025 NBA trade deadline predictions by Greg Schwartz. Chris Middleton era ends in Milwaukee. What an era it was. This does kind of feel... Is there just too much smoke with the Jimmy Butler thing and the Bucks being involved? Is there too much smoke there? I also don't think it's... Scale of 1 to 10, how surprised would we be if Jimmy Butler gets traded to the Suns? At this point, we're at a 1, right? That feels almost like a foregone conclusion. However, what would our surprise level be if Jimmy Butler ends up on the Bucks? 1 to 10, surprise level. 9? We'd be like, really? I'd put it at an 8 or a 9. I'd be really surprised. Really surprised, but would be like, oh, shit. The Bucks went for it. How would that happen? The Suns can't find a Bradley Beal suitor. And the Heat just say, you know what? If I'm getting Chris Middleton and like any of the 4 or 5 team trades that end up getting proposed that include the Bucks always end up with the Heat getting Chris Middleton or Bobby Portis, whatever the fuck they get. If I'm the Heat, I'm like, you know what? If I'm just getting these guys anyways, I don't even want to like deal with having to facilitate a Bradley Beal trade. Like, let's just do Jimmy for these guys straight up. Maybe a pick. Let's do it. I could see that happening, actually. Butler in Milwaukee or Butler stays in Miami. Butler staying in Miami would be the most surprising outcome of the trade deadline. Not saying it's impossible. But, I mean, this has gotten so ugly. He's been suspended 2 separate times. Yeah, he's been so rough. Chris Middleton has been so rough. What are they theorizing would be the case here? No matter if the Bucks pursue a blockbuster trade that would land them Butler or settle for a smaller target like Jeremy Grant of the Portland Trailblazers or Cameron Johnson of the Brooklyn Nets. See, if I'm the Nets, from all the reporting about what the Nets want for Cam Johnson, Chris Middleton is not. That feels like a non-starter. They don't want contracts back. Julius Randle's traded by the Timberwolves. Now, this is bold. Chris Middleton getting traded, I don't think is that bold based off of what we're hearing. Julius Randle getting traded would be crazy. I don't really know what would the return look like. They're a second apron team. So, are they a second apron team? Did they get under the second apron in that trade? T-Wolves fans hate Randle. Oh, I know. The Wolves can shop Randle in his $33.1 million essentially expiring contract now while using the first-round pick acquired from the Knicks, 2025 first-rounder via Detroit Pistons, top 13 protected. That's not a terrible pick. To bring in a better fitting power forward or scoring wing to help Anthony Edwards shoulder the offensive load. $33 million is just... If that number was in the 4s, I could see a Brandon Ingram, Julius Randle swap. I could see it. But $33 million, it's hard to find a fit. It really is. I think they end up holding, especially with your contract situation. It would be nice to have another first rounder like that, like the Pistons pick in 2025. How is that Pistons pick floating around, by the way? How did that pick end up there? What did the Pistons trade for to give up their 2015 pick or 2025 pick? I'm trying to brainstorm. I can't think. Why Williams not playing more? I think the young players have some skills. Brandon Williams, he's a two-way guard. Jerry on hiring the Grimes deal? They gave up a first-round pick in that Boyan trade? No, they didn't. Randall Zion front court would be hilarious to watch defensively. That would be more so getting off of Brandon Ingram's expiring contract and getting a first-round pick in return. That's all that would be. It wouldn't be like a, let's go get Julius Randle move. Although Julius Randle's playing, like I guess if you're the Pelicans, you'd talk yourself into that. Either Tobias or a dog trade. No, it wasn't Tobias. Jaron hiring Schottenheimer. If you don't think I can operate outside my comfort zone, you are so wrong. Hiring Schottenheimer is as big a risk as you can take. No head coaching experience. Did he really say that? Oh, during draft trade. You're absolutely right. That's what it was. Absolutely. Pelicans have serious trade discussions involving Zion Williamson. I'm pretty bold. It's just, it sounds... It sounds like Zion finishing his contract with the Pelicans would just be shocking at this point. However, he's played well enough now that he's come back. He does look like he's in good shape. He looks really fucking good. Like he does. It's just, why trade him now? It's been a weird season for him. He's been injured. Why trade him low? We have 4 or 5 years left on that deal. This is year 1 of 5. Year 1 of 4, I'm sorry. Or year 2 of a 5-year deal. Why trade him now? Lakers, Warriors do nothing at the trade deadline. That's pretty bold. The Lakers will do something else. Is it going to be something big? I'm not sure. They'll trade for one of the centers on the market. I feel pretty confident in that. Will that be Robert Williams? Maybe. Will that be Jonas Valanciunas? Maybe. Will they finally get Walker Kessler, who they've wanted forever? That feels like you're more on the optimistic side. But they'll get somebody, I think. The Warriors, I'm not sure. The Warriors historically really don't move around at the trade deadline. Like that's something they've really never done. I wonder if there's more of a sense of desperation this time around because they are 10-20 in their last 30 games. They're free falling. They do not look like a competitive team whatsoever. Steph is still really good, but we saw in this game against the Lakers on Saturday night, he had 0 points in the second half. Steph is, getting older. He's not the Steph of old. He can't carry your franchise anymore. You got to give something. You got to give him some help or else you're not going to be a competitive team. Dennis Schroeder to the Warriors, what a bust. Yeah, Schroeder hasn't been great either. Like, do they make another trade? I think they do. I think they end up doing something else, but I'm not sure what just yet. Tune in on Thursday. Trade deadline prediction video. Then you'll know. 76ers call team to gauge interest in Joel Embiid, Paul George. Now this is hot. This is hot. Off season, maybe. Right now, I highly doubt it. Also, here's the thing with Joel Embiid. If you're the Sixers, you're trading one of the greatest players to ever play for your franchise, beloved. Well, I think he's beloved across your fan base. You trade Joel Embiid. What team right now is knocking on your door and saying, "Dude, I'll give you 4 or 5 first-round picks for Embiid"? Hell yeah. 5 years left. $51 million this year, $55 next year, $57 the year after that, $62 the year after that, $67 the year after that. Fuck yeah, man. I want in on that. I'll give you 4 first-round picks. What team's doing that? None. No team in the league. So you're not making that trade. You're just not. You're not trading a guy like that. Selling low as well, which you would be doing. If a team were to trade, if the Sixers were just so desperate, it's like, dude, we want to get off Embiid right now before this gets worse, you'd be trading him for 50 cents on the dollar. Just don't see it. Zion for Joel swap. I think the Sixers probably feel good about that, weirdly enough. Sal, you look so old today. Thank you. Paul George, yeah, sure. If a team wants Paul George, I would trade him in a heartbeat if I'm the Sixers. If a team was willing to give me anything of value for Paul George, hell yeah. Wouldn't even think twice. The last 2 title runs for the Mavs had to go against Steph in his last great run in Boston during a historic stretch in recent history. Who has it worse than us? I mean, you can think about that Rockets team in the mid to late 2010s. Think about those teams. They had it pretty rough. That Paul George contract is the most disgusting thing in the present NBA. Dude, the Paul George and Embiid deals are just like shocking. Shocking. I mean, Embiid's got 5 fucking years left. There's just no world where that contract isn't good. We might already be on the backside of that contract being terrible. The Paul George contract's already awful. Like, already, we knew. Going into this year, we knew the Paul George contract was going to be bad in a few years. But that didn't matter because they were going for it this year. Whatever. We'll have to figure it out 2-3 years from now. It already looks like shit. $51 million next year, $54 the year after, player option, $56 million. Oh my God. That's crazy. You're never getting someone in free agency, and Cade Embiid would be electric. I don't think there are too many teams that want that contract. Because think about this. There'd be 2 things that go into it. One, if I'm a GM, I'm perking up a little bit. My ears are perked up a little bit if I'm getting a call from Daryl Morey about Embiid. Immediately, I'm like, what's going on here? Something's not right. Something's not adding up. Okay? Think about the stars that Daryl Morey has traded. There's always something going on behind the scenes. Traded Ben Simmons. Obviously, Ben Simmons wanted to be gone for James Harden. Then traded James Harden. James Harden wanted the fuck out of there. And now if I'm getting a call about Embiid, I'm like, what's happening here? I'd have to do extensive physicals. I'm getting 3rd, 4th, 5th opinions on every physical that I do for him. I'm asking, what's going on? I'm hiring a private investigator. What's going on behind the scenes here? Am I getting like a huge locker room cancer? Is this like reaching a terrible point? Is it a stretch to say the Clippers had an A+ offseason, made so many good moves? I hated their offseason at the time. I just hated losing, like committing to Kawhi Leonard and then losing Paul George for nothing. Made no sense to me whatsoever at the time. When I felt like you could have got some value for Paul George at some point. But yeah, the other moves that they made, I mean, bringing in Derrick Jones Jr., like their team's good. Their team is really good. I was watching their game against the, who did they beat? Was it the Kings? Bucks, yes, Bucks. Yeah, I watched them beat the Bucks. Was that Saturday night? They're good, man. Harden popped off for 40. Norm Powell had 30. Like, even in your wildest dreams, you didn't expect Norm Powell to do this. That's definitely helped them. But my big takeaway from that game, and another reason why Zach LaVine on the Bucks would make some sense to me is, God damn, they're old and slow as fucking dirt. They're so slow, man. I mean, we've been saying this all year for the Bucks. They're so slow. They are so old and slow, man. Brook Lopez is slow as shit. It's like a dangerous place to be at. If you've ever played basketball at any setting, really, even rec pickup, when you're playing a team that's more athletic than you and they start to realize it and they just start to run, they know, hey, even after makes, we can get up the court quick. You get that sense. You're like, oh, fuck. Like they've sort of figured it out. They figured out that we cannot keep up with them speed-wise. Reggie Bullock retired, didn't he? Yeah, Derrick Jones Jr. has been really good for them. Shout out to the Clippers, man. Really. All right. We're going to close this stream off here. I want to, as we embark on this streaming odyssey over the next couple of weeks. I want to stream every day between now and the deadline. want to revisit past trade deadlines and maybe grade them, maybe rank them by the end of it. I don't know. The last 10 trade deadlines, this was a project I was going to kind of work on, maybe make a video out of, but then I got so deep into the weeds on the 2015 trade deadline and how insane it was and how crazy it was that it just became a thing in and of itself. That we might just revisit all of these individually because there's so many stories. Each trade deadline, all the trade trees, so many stories involved. So 10 years ago, we'll talk about this trade deadline. 10 years ago, the 2015 trade deadline, a historically great one. And in fact, it was kind of I don't think it's a stretch to say this was the craziest trade deadline ever up until this point. Not a lot of like huge stars on the move. You had bigger trade deadline trades before this. Obviously, like the Pau Gasol trade, huge trade when it happened, and obviously had huge repercussions for the next 5-6 years in the NBA. You had the Rasheed Wallace trade, obviously a huge trade. Dikembe Mutombo getting traded midseason to the Sixers. There's bigger trades that have happened. This trade deadline didn't have like huge heavy hitter trades, although there were a few like big time trades, guys who ended up making All-Star games like directly after getting traded. But it was more so the sheer volume of trades. We hadn't really seen anything like it. And it was kind of a precursor of things to come, of teams just saying, we're willing to shake shit up midseason now. In the past, it had kind of been, you kind of ride with what you have. I think I mentioned in a video that you look at the early 2000 trade deadlines, and there was like 4, 5, 6 trades made. Just wasn't that common. And now we've reached a point where it's like pretty much every team is making a trade of some sort. Like 20 plus teams make trades now during the trade season. And 2015 was kind of a big deal. So let's get into it and let's discuss it. This spawned an infamous Adrian Wojnarowski tweet. Good Lord. 2:06 p.m. February 19th, the trade deadline. The trade deadline used to be pushed back today. I agree with Bill Simmons that the trade deadline should not be the Thursday before the Super Bowl. It makes no sense. You're literally shooting yourself in the foot. One of the most fun and exciting times of the entire NBA season just falls in the biggest sporting event of the year for American sports, at least. Makes no sense whatsoever. But 17 teams made trades. 39 players got traded. This was on deadline day. I'm sorry. This was on deadline day. 12 deadline day trades in total. In total, there were 25 trades from the start of the season to the deadline. So just a ton of moves in the 2015 deadline. And as I said, a lot of these trades ended up having pretty big, sizable impacts on the league, the future of the league, and things to come. Starting with this one right here, Goran Dragic. I need to walk you guys back to memory lane here. 2015 Phoenix Suns. What a hilarious fucking team this was. So, if you guys don't remember, the Suns in 2015 had this idea that we're going to have 3 point guards on our roster. 3 very capable point guards. And sometimes you see this happen to teams and they kind of luck into it or fall ass backwards into it. Like, hey, we drafted this guy and he ended up being way better than we expected. Now we have 3 guards. The Suns did it intentionally, right? They traded for Goran Dragic, who had been great for them. Made All-NBA third team the year before this. Fantastic player. Then they went out in the offseason and signed Isaiah Thomas, who wasn't Isaiah Thomas that we know and love now at that point, but was very close to it. Went out and signed him. But they also had Eric Bledsoe on the roster, who was sort of blossoming into a very, very solid player. And I don't think at the time he wasn't as good as Goran Dragic, but I think he was the most valuable player that they had at that time, considering his age and stuff like that. So the Suns had 3 point guards on their roster. They wanted to start all of them. And, well, wouldn't you know it, no surprise to anybody, people started to get pissed off. Goran Dragic got pissed off, didn't like it, felt like his playing time was getting cut into, felt like his touches, his on-ball reps were getting cut into. So he demanded a trade. He was a free agent at the end of the season. So he demands a trade. And they grant it, sending him to Miami, obviously, where he would go on to spend the remainder of his career before a few stops here and there, Toronto, Brooklyn, Chicago, Milwaukee, where Goran Dragic ended out his career. But ended up getting traded to Miami, where he was fantastic in a trade that would have huge implications in the future of the NBA. I mean, huge implications. Danny Granger gets traded. He didn't end up playing a game, I don't think, for the Suns, if memory serves me correctly. I don't know if he played another game in the league after this. He was dealing with knee injuries. Kind of sad. I went back and I looked at this. It was kind of some sad quotes from Danny Granger that he was excited to go to Phoenix because they had a great training staff at the time, like a world-renowned training staff. They worked with Steve Smith and prolonged his career. He thought that could be him. He thought that could be his future, that he could play another 5 to 6 years, and that wasn't the case. He never played another game. Never played another game dealing with knee injuries. So that sucks. But they got 2 first-round picks, and this is the big deal right here. Got 2 first-round picks in this trade. What did those picks end up being, you might ask? A protected 2016 pick that ended up becoming a 2018 pick because of protections, and a 2021 first-round pick. Now, you might remember the 2018 draft, of course. The Phoenix Suns drafted Zaire Smith. But, of course, that's not how it went down. The Philadelphia 76ers gave him a phone call and said, hey, give us Zaire Smith. You're thinking of Danny Green, not Danny Granger. Give me Zaire Smith and that 2021 first-round pick that you got in the Goran Dragic trade from Miami to move up and take Mikal Bridges. So that's what happened. The Phoenix Suns used the 2 first-round picks they got in this trade to move up in the 2018 draft to select Mikal Bridges. This is where trade trees become so fun and interesting. And obviously, that ends up pretty much leading to them getting Kevin Durant. So this trade is somewhat responsible for the Phoenix Suns landing Kevin Durant years later. That 2021 first round pick's hilarious too. So the Sixers got this 2021 first round pick from the Heat, or from the Suns in this trade in the 2018 draft to move up and get Mikal Bridges. They then used that pick to land Tobias Harris from the Los Angeles Clippers. The Clippers then used that pick, of course, to get Paul George from the Oklahoma City Thunder. The Oklahoma City Thunder used this pick to select. Any idea who they got with this pick? 2021? Trey Mann. So the pick itself didn't lead to much. Shout out to Trey Mann. But it is funny how much it bounced around in like huge, ginormous trades. So this ended up being a crazy trade. I mean, Goran Dragic was great with the Heat. 30 minutes per game for them. And the team that made the finals in 2020. I mean, that's how long he ended up being on the Heat. 2017 All-Star. Heat legend. I mean, they love him. Goran Dragic was great. Great player for them. Zoran Dragic didn't really do much. The Pelicans were included in this trade. I mean, Norris Cole, Justin Hamilton, Sean Williams. Nothing crazy at all. But this was a big domino. Probably the biggest domino to fall at the trade deadline. The Suns also traded away Isaiah Thomas, who they had just signed in the offseason. Year 1 of a 4-year, $27 million deal at the time. They had just signed him. I tried to go back and find a reason. Like, Goran Dragic requested a trade. He wanted out. He wanted out of Phoenix. I could not figure out why exactly the Suns traded Isaiah Thomas, other than the fact that they realized defensively he wasn't going to cut it, and this 3-guard rotation just wasn't it. So the Celtics take a swing on him. Of course, we know how this ended up working out. Isaiah Thomas became a 2-time All-Star with the Boston Celtics, finished 5th in MVP voting in the 2016-2017 season, made the second team All-NBA that year, played 3 years in Boston. 24.5 points per game, 6 assists per game, was awesome for them. And then, of course, ended up being a key piece in the Kyrie Irving trade. And then had that hip injury, and it just kind of went downhill from there for Isaiah Thomas. But this was a phenomenal trade for the Boston Celtics. At the time, nobody could have expected Isaiah Thomas to turn into what he turned into. But for what the Celtics gave up, which was Tayshaun Prince, who goes back to Detroit. This was an interesting deadline. We'll get to some other deals here in a bit, where old franchise legends get traded back to their team. So Tayshaun Prince gets traded back to the Detroit Pistons. That was fun. This was back when the Pistons were like kind of trying to be competitive. And the Suns get a 2016 first-round pick in this trade that turned into Scalabissiere. Yeah, so nothing really. Who the Suns used in a trade on the 2016 draft night to trade up and get Marquise Chris. So the bad trade for the Suns, return-wise. They didn't really get much in return. Interestingly enough, that trade up for Marquise Chris included the draft rights to Bogdan Bogdanovic, who hadn't come over just yet. Bogdan Bogdanovic got drafted by the Suns. Was a draft and stash. A lot of former Mavs legends involved in this trade deadline. Weirdly, in Suns trades, you had former future Mav, Goran Dragic, never quite made his way to Dallas, even though it felt inevitable forever. Then you had this trade, Isaiah Thomas, Maverick legend. Marquise Chris, Maverick legend. How about this guy? Brandon Knight, Maverick legend. So the Suns trade away two of their guards, but they weren't just about to sit there and do nothing else. They made a big swing to land Brandon Knight. So they replaced Isaiah Thomas and Goran Dragic with Brandon Knight. Brandon Knight was supposed to come in and be this, fill the void left by those two guys. And they paid him a lot of money. That offseason, they gave him a 5-year, $70 million contract. In today's NBA, that's about $27 million per year. They gave him a ton of money. A ton of money. And unfortunately, it just really did not work out. Played 117 career games with the Phoenix Suns, tore his ACL in the 2016-2017 season, and got traded before he could recover to the Houston Rockets for Ryan Anderson. So, didn't work out. To say it didn't work out would be putting it lightly. This was an interesting 3-team trade. Michael Carter-Williams got traded to the Milwaukee Bucks. Going back and reading up on this was hilarious. Jason Kidd was the coach of the Milwaukee Bucks at the time, and he fucking loved Michael Carter-Williams. He was so happy to get Michael Carter-Williams. This was year 2 of MCW. Fresh off of winning Rookie of the Year, tons of upside. There were a lot of advanced stats and stuff. Like, if you just peeked under the hood at all, you could kind of tell he wasn't great. But there was still some potential there. He ends up playing 2 years, 79 games with the Bucks. Was pretty terrible. Got traded for Tony Snell. Never worked out. The Sixers in this trade land a 2015 first-round pick from the Lakers. Now, what's interesting about this draft pick? If you guys remember this, the Lakers owed this pick in the Steve Nash trade. They gave this pick to the Phoenix Suns. It was heavily protected. It was top 5 protected in 2015. This was a big deal at the time when I was reading up on this, because the Lakers weren't really in a spot to get that pick. They had to bottom out the rest of the season and have some lottery luck, which they did. Landed the 2nd overall pick and drafted D'Angelo Russell. Then the next year, 2016, this pick was top 3 protected. So the Lakers had to bottom out again and get lucky in the draft lottery, and they did. They landed the 2nd overall pick again and drafted Brandon Ingram. Then in 2017, this pick was top 3 protected. They had to bottom out and get lucky, which they did again. 2nd overall, they drafted Lonzo Ball, obviously, and then this turned into an unprotected 2018 pick, which was Mikal Bridges. Mikal Bridges was drafted with this Lakers pick, and then got traded to the Phoenix Suns. It's just hilarious how these things work out. It really is. Let's shoot the shot early. Can I get VIP tonight? Sure. Well. Sure. If you come in early enough. Brandon Knight will forever be known for DeAndre Jordan murdering him on a dunk. Brandon Knight was a good player. I mean, it was him and Kyrie that had that duel at the Rising Stars game, right? This was also a big trade at this deadline. The Kevin Garnett trade. So Kevin Garnett goes back to Minnesota. Only a tail end of Kevin Garnett's career. This was a god-awful basketball trade for the Timberwolves. And it's funny going back and doing research on this. Everyone agreed at the time that this was a god-awful basketball trade. KG was 38 years old, only plays in 43 games in his second stint with the Timberwolves. But that's not really why they traded for him. They traded for him to be a leader, be a vet guy. This young team, they need a veteran presence. We're bringing a winning culture back to Minnesota. But this trade from a basketball perspective was pretty shit. I mean, Thad Young was a free agent at the end of the season, had a player option, I think, but was a free agent at the end of the season. He gets traded to the Nets and ended up being pretty damn solid. He signed a 4-year, $54 million deal in the summer. 2 years, 101 games, 14.5 points per game, 8 rebounds, 1.5 steals. The Nets traded him on draft night in 2016 for the 20th overall pick in that draft, which ended up becoming Karis LeVert, good NBA player. But just kind of a hilarious trade in hindsight. To be fair, it was widely known that Thad Young was going to turn down his player option and get a new contract in the summer. So the Timberwolves didn't really want to pay him. Fair. They get no real value in return, except Kevin Garnett. And hey, maybe Kevin Garnett instilled a winning culture there, but don't think so. Just kind of a hilarious trade. The Reggie Jackson trade. My God. It's because Reggie Jackson kind of has a baby face. He doesn't look like he's been in the league as long as he has been. It doesn't look like he's 34 years old and has been in the league since 2011. But that is the reality. Reggie Jackson was fed up in OKC. He was. He didn't like his role. He wanted a bigger role. Reggie, this was a big trade at the time. It was. Reggie Jackson was a pretty solid player. Had pretty high standing across the league. So he gets traded to the Pistons. This was a kind of a big trade at the time. Gets traded to the Pistons. The Jazz jump in on this. And they get a 2018 first rounder from the Thunder to send Enes Kanter to the Oklahoma City Thunder. So this ends up being a great trade for OKC. Is kind of where I'm getting at, because Enes Kanter, for all of his flaws, all of his, interesting takes, was a pretty solid big man for them for a while. Did have his, was a horrible defender. Horrible defender. But played big minutes for them. Finished third and sixth man of the year voting for them. Hey, my boy, Kanter and Adams were brothers back then. Yeah. And then Reggie Jackson goes to Detroit and is just, whatever. Not very good at all. Ends up being kind of a bad contract. This was just a weird trade. Utah pretty much gets nothing in return for this. They used that pick that they got in the trade for Ricky Rubio. Warriors frontrunners for Vooch per Stein. The Vooch sweepstakes. Yeah, DJ Augustine. So the idea behind this trade was that, hey, we're going to trade, Reggie Jackson. We'll get Enes Kanter, who's like this interesting younger big. But DJ Augustine was like a role player at this time, was slotted into the rotation. Never was that good for the Thunder, but DJ Augustine was absolutely a rotation player at this point in time. And Utah really gets nothing. I don't think Kendrick Perkins, got waived. Aaron Aflalo, this was a big deal. Going back and looking, the Nuggets were like the card holders of this deadline. Everyone was kind of waiting to see what they did. They blew up their roster a little tiny bit. Aaron Aflalo was a really solid role player at this time. But they had him, they had Kenneth Faried, they had Ty Lawson. All of these guys were like on the trade block. JaVale McGee, who they ended up trading. Could you read Mark Stein article? It's paywalled. So the Nuggets trade him to the Blazers. Aaron Aflalo plays 25 games. Kind of a fucked up situation there. He gets brought in to be this bench player. Wesley Matthews tears his Achilles almost immediately. So he gets slotted into the starting lineup and then hurts his shoulder and just kind of never could get it going with the Blazers. Just kind of an unfortunate situation there. But the Nuggets in return got Will Barton, who went on to play for the Nuggets for 8 years. 479 games, 14 points per game, finished 4th and 6th man of the year voting twice. An interesting player, played hard. Was he a winning basketball player? Well, the Nuggets ended up concluding that no, he really wasn't. And of course was traded for Monte Morris and KCP. Or him and Monte Morris were traded for KCP. And they used this 2016 first round pick that they got for Malik Beasley, who ended up being a really good player for them. 206 games, 4 seasons, 38% from 3. So this ended up being a home run trade for the Nuggets, all things considered. Love how Stein lives in Dallas, but has barely barking about Dallas. I mean, there's probably nothing to talk about. And this is the last trade we have here. JaVale McGee. It's also crazy. Like, JaVale McGee's been in the league for so long that he was a salary dump trade in 2015. It's just like hard to even compute. Not only was he in the league 10 years ago, which, yeah, JaVale McGee's been in the league for a long time. That's not surprising. It's surprising that he was in the league in 2008, but it's just like time goes by so fast that he was a salary dump in 2015 and then went on to have as long of a career as he ended up having is pretty respectable. Yeah, 2020 NBA champion. You are right. But the Nuggets traded JaVale McGee and a 2015 first just to get off of this contract to the Sixers. A complete and total salary dump trade. That pick turned into Joel Embiid. No, I'm just kidding. That pick turned into Furkan Korkmaz. So, really a nothing trade. But kind of hilarious. JaVale McGee. Korkmaz was good for them. Yeah, Korkmaz played for a little bit. But wanted out, wanted traded, and then never played again. Is he in Europe right now, I'm assuming? Just a fun trade deadline. A fun trade deadline to go back and look at as well. All of the trades that happened and all of the consequences of it. Like Isaiah Thomas getting traded. Nobody could have predicted Isaiah Thomas would finish top 3 in MVP voting the next year. Or top 5 in MVP voting, whatever he finished. 5th. Nobody could have expected that. But it happened. Goran Dragic went on to have a great career with the Miami Heat. And the picks that the Suns got in that Dragic trade led to them trading up for Mikal Bridges, who was fantastic for them, helped them get to the finals, was then the main piece, the centerpiece of a trade for Kevin Durant. I mean, it's just crazy. Just keep that in mind the coming weeks. That these trades, they lead to so much shit down the line. There's a bunch of other trades here as well. Like, what else happened? Ish Smith got traded. No surprise there. Average trade deadline for Ish Smith. Ramon Sessions got traded for Andre Miller. Adrian Payne got traded. Who was it? Rest in peace, by the way. Who was a pretty promising player. The Hawks got a first-round pick in that trade from the Timberwolves. The Hawks trade Adrian Payne to the Timberwolves. Never really panned out for the Timberwolves again. Rest in peace. For a first-rounder that became Kevin Huerter. Like, what the hell? The Timberwolves traded Troy Daniels and Mo Williams to the Hornets for Gary Neal in a 2019 second. That turned into Jalen Noel, who had a pretty long NBA career. Crazy. Crazy stuff, folks. What do you think the NBA is back? What did you think of the NBA back in 2015 to 2018? Because I really didn't enjoy it. Was the Warriors basically ruined the NBA back then? So at the time, I promise you, I did not enjoy it. I have more fond memories of it looking back on it, which is why the reality is dynasties are good for sports. They just are. You have somebody to root against collectively. People are tuned in. They want to see them lose, right? I liked it at the time. I thought LeBron going back to Cleveland was so fucking cool. I loved it. I rooted so hard for them. I rooted so hard for him. You know, the Mavs were still competitive, but it was obvious the Mavs weren't a super serious team. 17, 18 were not enjoyable even looking back at it. Yes, those 2 years. 2016 was incredible, right? And that kind of makes the next 2 years easier to swallow. When was the Rockets' 27 straight missed threes game? Was that 2019? Or is that 18? 2019 was great. That Kawhi season, that Raptor season, that Raptor series against the Sixers, like all of it was super, super dope. There was kind of a stain on that because of 2018. Kind of a stain on that because of just how injured the Warriors were. Like it felt like you vanquished the Warriors. The beast was vanquished. But it didn't feel right. You know, it felt cheap. Now, it's interesting is you know, we're mid 2020s, and there haven't been too many teams that are just like, are the Celtics a dynasty potentially? Maybe. The Celtics could very easily win the finals again this year, but they're older, they're expensive. Like what made that Warriors team so scary is they were entering their primes all kind of collectively. Steph, Draymond, and Clay, and then through incredible fortune, good fortune, the salary spike allowed them to go get Kevin Durant, who is also pretty young. That's true. Tatum and Brown are young together, but those two are already making so much money and have been in the league already for so long that it's going to be really, really difficult for them to build around those two. Everyone thought Denver was. Yeah, everyone did think Denver was. And I just look around. I mean, the Thunder are in position because they have that the young guys, Chet, Shea, J-Dub, all young, kind of entering their prime together. Ton of assets. Like that's really the team. If there's going to be a dynasty to close out the decade over the next 5 years, it would be It would be the Thunder. Just realistically speaking, Rockets, OKC, and Magic. Like if we're talking a dynasty, that team has to be ready pretty much right now in the next 5 years. Like it has to be pretty much right now. The Magic aren't ready, and the Rockets aren't ready. What would be the closest comp to KD joining the Warriors in 2015? Oh my God. I don't know if there's a sports comp to that ever. It would be Luka joining the Thunder. Yeah. I mean, that's pretty close. Yeah, that would be pretty close. Top 2, top 3 player in the world. Josh Green Hornets for not writing back. Crazy Cenk Uyghur was traded 10 years ago. Yep. Magic isn't ready yet, but when will they? Maybe next year. Are the Thunder not going to find themselves in the same situation they were with KD, Harden, and Westbrook salary wise? No, they'll pay their 3 guys. They're not making that mistake again. Do you actually believe Shea can lead a team to a chip? Yes, I do. I do. That's going to do it for me today. If you're listening to this on Spotify, leave a 5-star review. I love you. We'll be live tonight on playback.tv/slightly biased to watch the Mavs take on the Wizards. They got to treat that shit like a game 7. I'm not trolling or joking. I'm not trolling or joking. We'll talk tomorrow. Hopefully we have some more, you know, hopefully we have some more Magic or Wendell Malone away. Hell yeah. Hopefully we have some more trade rumors. That would be nice. You guys enjoy the rest of your day. See you all tonight. Talk with you all later. If you missed anything from this stream, you can check it out on the Clips channel. Love you all. When that trade deadline prediction video drops, folks, I need you gassing it up. I need you gassing it up. Love you all. Talk to you all later. Bye. Oh, wait. I didn't do my whole shtick. Oh, wait. Another thing I wanted to do. Shit. I'm going to calculate what we all got today, member-wise and donation-wise. Member-wise, donation-wise. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 donations. That's 18 minutes off. 1, 2, 7, 8, 9 members. That's 9 minutes off. So we're up to 27 minutes off. All right, that's a pretty strong start. It's a pretty strong start. That's not even factoring playback tonight. To all the OGs, thank you guys very much for coming out. Could spend your Monday morning anywhere in the world you decided to spend it here. New subscribers, I promise you guys not regret it. Donations, members, thank you guys so much. You never have to do that, but it'll help me out. Helps me out so much and it makes me feel so good. You guys enjoy the rest of your day. See you all tonight. Tomorrow morning as well. Chat with you all later. Bye.